Welcome to today's video, Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11 explained. He hath made everything beautiful in his time, also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. This verse is found in the book of Ecclesiastes, where Solomon shares his wisdom about life, purpose, and the timing of all things under heaven. When the verse says that God has made everything beautiful in his time, it means that God has a perfect timing for everything that happens in our lives. There are seasons for everything: a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to reap. Sometimes, we want things to happen on our own schedule, but God knows the right time for all things. In His wisdom, He arranges all the events of our lives so that they serve a purpose and work together for good. What may not seem beautiful to us in the present can become beautiful in the proper time when we look back and see how God was working all along. The verse also says that God has set the world in our hearts. The word world here can also be understood as eternity. This means that God has placed in every human being a sense of something greater, a longing for meaning, purpose, and the eternal. Even though we live in this world, there is a part of us that longs for something beyond what we can see and experience right now. We wonder about the bigger picture, about the reason for our existence, and about what happens after this life. Because God has placed eternity in our hearts, we naturally seek answers to life's deepest questions. We search for understanding and purpose. But the verse continues by saying that no man can find out the work that God does from the beginning to the end. In other words, while we may long to know and understand everything about God's plan and the mysteries of life, we cannot fully grasp it. God's ways are higher than our ways, and His understanding is far beyond ours. Sometimes we only see a small piece of the puzzle, but God sees the entire picture from beginning to end. This teaches us humility and trust. We can rest knowing that God is in control and that His timing is perfect, even if we do not always understand it. Instead of being frustrated by what we do not know, we can find peace in trusting God who knows all things. Our limited understanding is a reminder to rely on God's wisdom and not our own. When we face difficult times or situations that seem confusing or unfair, we can remember that God is still working behind the scenes to make all things beautiful in His time. In the end, Ecclesiastes 3 verse 11 reminds us to appreciate the beauty of God's timing, to embrace the longing for eternity that He has placed in our hearts, and to trust in His divine plan even when we cannot see the whole picture. Life may be full of questions and mysteries, but God is the one who makes everything beautiful in its season, and He is worthy of our trust.